So I wanted to try the World of Trucks Euro Truck racing thing. So I decided that I would go ahead and do that as my first stream in a while. It's something that I definitely haven't done in, it's been a long time since I've streamed, so just let it say that it's been a while. I'm gonna make those bigger. Okay. And those are all looking good. Okay. Actually, let's just do this really quickly. Make sure I've got the right. That should be good. Okay. Now, so I'm gonna do the one that's currently available. Now, it's nice that it actually. I don't know if it's supposed to start in Frankfurt. I'm a little bit confused there, but that's where I am, and that seems to be where it's starting. Because Frankfurt is where my main place was when I started this. On my personal, I've been driving the Scania, so I'm going to be all over the place on shifting right now. Actually, let me make sure that I've got this set up on the Volvo shift pattern, because that's what I'm driving, which means I'm going to be all over the place. Now, I could, go and buy a Scania truck, which I've actually got the money to do that. Maybe I should just do that really quickly. I'm just going to switch over to Volvo. Maybe next stream I'll switch trucks. Okay. Actually, do I have a Volvo 12 plus 2, or do I just have a Volvo 12? Let's see. Diagnostics. It has been a long time since I've driven this truck, so 12 FR and ASOULC. I don't know what that means. Let's actually we'll go this way. I'm going to assume that I have a 12 plus 2, because I think that is what I have. Volvo 12 plus 2. And then we're going to go to the world map here. Okay. So we'll go to the world map, see what we have in the way of external contracts, because this is where I have to go. I actually don't like the external contracts because it has the speed limiter on the World of Truck jobs, but that's just the way it has to be in order to take part in this. So let's say begin delivery on that, and go from there. Your modded truck or trailer is too long. Then resume my contract, huh? Okay, I'm not sure why it thinks that, because... Okay, job market. External contracts. Why does it think that I'm too long? Not even that long. In fact, I'm pretty short. And it's not gonna let me. Okay, I guess I just have to abandon it, despite it costing me a bunch of money. Apparently that one didn't cost me any money though. Okay, now that having been said, let's find a freight market job. I don't want to go buy a trailer right now, so we'll just do a freight market. I have not done a special transport. We could do that. Okay, so we've got a special transport there. Oh, I guess I probably ought to grab jobs that start in Frankfurt. Okay, no special transports that start there. Going over to France. Going to Berlin. Olives to Poland. Now that would be interesting because I'm actually currently running the Poland rebuilding mod. So that one would be an interesting one. Let's do that. Well, yeah. Okay, set as GPS location or destination. Okay. Now, I have not driven a Volvo in a while. I've been driving my Scania. Oh. Okay. Let's change it back to an H shifter. Options. Controls. So interestingly, I had been using this this profile only for streaming, and then at one point I got totally confused about which one was my personal one and which one was my streaming one, like my not streaming and my streaming. And so I started playing this. So then I started playing this on the streaming one, or during just normal play instead. Oh, there we go. Oh, come on. Anyway, and so it's actually in a very different place than it was last time I streamed. Although I guess it, ended up... And I can't start this for the life of me, apparently. Okay. I do often complain about the inability to start going easily. When in a real truck, you shouldn't have to really give it any throttle, and it will just go. I mean, assuming you're not in the wrong gear, you should be able to just give it ever so slightly some throttle, and it'll just go. And in this, I mean, I am an empty truck, and I can't even hardly get going in first gear. I swear that I found a good mod in ATS, I think, at one point that was fixing that problem. But I don't seem to... I looked around earlier today because I was doing some driving on my personal account, and I looked around to try and figure out if there was such a mod here, and I could not find one. We're going for it. Oh, I can't see my... I think I need to adjust my seating a little bit. Just a sec. Ah, damn it. Okay. I'm gonna adjust my seating. Where's my... Okay, let's adjust my seating. Cabin adjustments. Adjust seat. Anyway, apparently I almost can't get started in this truck, despite it being a 700 horsepower truck. 700 horsepower. And getting going is difficult. And it's hard because if you do it on automatic, simple to get started, and it's not just letting out the clutch. Like, I actually was playing... yesterday, actually, I was playing on my other one, and I decided I'd go this weird way, and I ended up stuck because I was up against a building, and I could not get going. Like, I tried and I couldn't get going, and then I switched to a real automatic, got going just fine. Like, it was super simple. Once I wasn't trying to do a manual transmission, it was like I didn't have enough power. I could rev and let it out as slowly as possible, and it didn't matter because it just didn't work. And so I feel like they really need to do a better job with that, where you have a lot more applicable power, is maybe the way to say it, when playing on a real automatic. Like, you can pull a load that you couldn't otherwise pull. So we'll see if we have problems pulling a fairly heavy load. I mean, it's going to be an 18-ton load, so it's not oversized or anything, but it's still, normal weight, and I feel like I'm not going to be able to get going no matter how hard I try, unless I use my crawler gears, which I shouldn't have to use my crawler gears just to get started. Anyway, so that's something that still needs to be fixed, and I've looked a little bit into just, how do you mod it yourself to change them, because I hear that it's just that, you know, you give them a lot more torque at starting RPM and then they're able to go. And so if that's the case, you know, maybe I could just mod it to do that, and get it done that way. But I've never modded them at all, so I don't know how hard it would be. People say it's really simple, but I don't know. Anyway, that would be probably the only... I don't want a 1,000 horsepower truck. I don't want everything to be super easy. In fact, on my personal game, I've been driving a Scania, and I purposefully have not bought the really powerful truck. Now, I did get up to the V8 level, but that's it. I didn't go beyond that, and so it ends up... sorry, I'm just looking at my dash layout, and so that's pretty good, actually. Anyway, I don't want the game to be super easy. I like to have a hard time on hills and things like that. But when you've got unnecessary difficulty or impossibility to get started, even when you've got a plenty powerful enough truck, excuse me, that's definitely a problem. So I struggle with that part about this game, where it's not that it's realistic, like, it's not that I don't like the realism. In fact, I like more realism, but how hard it is to get started is not realistic, and so that's kind of the problem there. So this World of Trucks thing, I may have to just kind of see with each one whether it's something that I can do with pro mods or not. I'm afraid that I'm not going to be able to do any of them. I mean, I don't actually care about the thing at the end, but I thought this one actually looked kind of interesting, delivering, you know, racing trucks. And so I wanted to give it a try, and I thought that might be a good one to stream as far as the community is concerned, maybe get some interaction that way. So, okay, let's see what we've got here. I came here to get that one. Oliven. Okay. Over there. See, like, empty truck. And I can barely get going. I'm in first gear. I revved it like crazy. I'm sorry, that's bad. Now, I do have a mod on here which is like reworked Volvo. Oh, I did want to see that because I wasn't sure. Oh, that could be what's doing it if I don't have a crawler. Okay, so do I have a gear over there? That's 6. No, I do have crawler. Okay. And I've got crawler gears, right? I do have all those gears. Okay, so I don't have the wrong gear layout. I just stalled it in reverse. Okay. You know, maybe I need a... Let me check my clutch adjustment. I wonder if that's actually what the problem is. Because it does seem worse than normal. Okay. Well, that's coupling. Let's put on the parking brake here. And I'm gonna check my clutch adjustment, see if maybe that's actually part of the problem. Acceleration, brake, clutch. Oh, that might be what the problem was. Oh, That's totally what the problem was. The clutch range was turned all the way down. Here I am just like completely ragging on the game. With the clutch turned all the way down, it's basically all or nothing, huh? So I was all the way, and then suddenly it would just let it completely out. Right there. Let's see if I do any better here. Okay, let's see how this goes. I'm wondering if that's actually what the problem was. I do stand by my, hey, it doesn't work all that well, but maybe this is going to make it better. Let's take a look really quickly, because I think my tag lifts are up. Oh, I don't have a tag lift on this one. Okay. Well, there you go. Let's check, make sure we're connected here. Take our parking brake off. And put our trailer brake on. Well, we are connected. Okay. Before we go any farther, I'm going to take a quick screenshot in case I don't think to take one later. Where's my cabin, truck, trailer? I moved it. That's right. It's now down here. Photo studio. Okay. And photo mode. Okay, something like that. Capture screenshot. Okay, let's drive. Okay, now the thing that made me actually notice maybe that it was so bad is because I was driving earlier, but on my other one, I mean, it was still hard to get going. That is so much easier. But it wasn't impossible like this one is. And so that's what made me think of the controls, because the controls are dependent on the profile. But still, it took me a long time to think of that, so. I haven't driven my Volvo in a while. I do like the Volvo trucks. The new Scanias are nice, but I still think I like the Volvos more. I actually feel like the dash is a better layout. Let's see, speaking of which. Nope, not you. I want my... Oh. I want my range, probably. Okay. Okay, let's go that way. And we'll be getting on the Autobahn up here. Oh, wrong way. So since the last time I streamed on, at least on Euro Truck, and I think even on American Truck, I used to have a Logitech G920, and I have since upgraded to a Thrustmaster TX with the what is it? The Sparco Rally wheel. I actually chose it because it was the largest wheel, and so I figured, well, it's still not as big. Oh, did I just? I think I just cut a motorcyclist off. Anyway, it still isn't as big as a semi wheel, but it's about the biggest you can get in something like this. So I do not have my cruise set up. Looks like some of my controls actually aren't set up correctly. Just a second. Options. Let's see, keys and buttons. Okay, cruise. Where's my cruise stuff? Well, that is set up correctly. Why wasn't it working? Do I have my retarder on? There we go. I'm not sure why it wasn't working before, but it's working now. Anyway, the rally wheel, and I made it's just something I notice so much is the force feedback on this Thrustmaster puts the Logitech to shame. There was so much slop in the other one that it didn't feel right. And you got a lot more noise than you did actual force feedback. Looks like we've got some kind of a... Okay. Anyway, so you got a lot more noise than you did force feedback, and it wasn't a very great experience. But this Thrustmaster is completely different. Very, very quiet, and the force feedback is much stronger and much higher quality besides. So, I just had a pretty bad frame drop there. Hopefully that didn't come through on the stream too badly. I just realized that I am not looking at my dashboard. Okay. So, there we go. Wondering if I should have done that differently. But do I not have any audio coming through here? Okay, just a sec. So if I don't have any audio, I gotta fix that. Audio check. Audio check. I definitely have audio. Okay. So that's not the problem. Now I'm gonna have to cycle all my buttons. Okay. It was just... that was muted. Okay. We're good. Cycle all these before I unpause, so that I'm not gonna be in the wrong gear. And this Volvo is really quiet. In fact, I'm not sure if I like how quiet it is. It may be some mod that I have, but it seems to make almost no noise at all. I've been driving with that Scania, which has a little bit of engine noise, which is nice. Oh, you know what I am going to do, though? Okay, I've got to put that in a different spot, because whenever I grab it, it messes up things. Controls, not buttons. Controls, I'm going to turn up my force feedback. Make it center a little harder. Give back a little engine feedback and some more terrain. Okay. Okay, so out on the open road. Anyway, so the Thrustmaster TX, oh, so much better. Also, I got the Thrustmaster, as you can see in the camera. I've got, and maybe I guess you can only see the shift knob, but I've got the Thrustmaster TA8 or whatever it is, the shifter, way better all around. And then I also, I do not have, I've got the Tech Affliction shifter. I can't think of the name of it right now, but I tried to get the CSIO debacle. I've got other videos where I talk about how bad of an experience that was, and I got nothing in the end. And after I got basically told my bank that to not honor the charge because they wouldn't give me my money back, then I went ahead and ordered this. Now I've actually found out, like, it seems like he's kind of getting a little bit behind on his orders, but he is still continuing to talk with the community and try and work those out rather than just ignore it. Go on, car. Okay. Oh, this is a pretty steep hill. Fulda, Würzburg, Stuttgart. Okay. So anyway, I've been very happy with this shifter. I think actually after doing my research at the time, I was kind of glad I got this one instead of the other one, because I had read some reviews saying the other one wasn't all that durable, or wasn't all that well made. And it could just be that, you know, they were trying to make more than they could make and keep their quality up. I do know the guy who makes this one, Tech Affliction. He commented that he had hired somebody to help him build them, and then he found out after a while that person was focusing on building just a single model of them because they were easier to build, and so the other models were not getting built. And he ended up hiring somebody else, but then there was a train-up process. I'm not quite sure where they are there at this point, but it did make a, you know, there was some stuff going on that way. So hopefully they're getting... Oh, you know what? I have not turned down... give me just a minute. I just realized that I have not adjusted the trailer stability on this level, so I'm going to do that really quickly. So if anybody wants to know how, it is G_trailer_stability 0. Oh, actually, do I have to do set show G_trailer stability? Nope. Maybe that's all it is. G truck stability is 0.5. Okay, 0. Actually, so I just go like this to see what it's currently set to. Okay, and then G suspension stiffness 0. Okay. And apparently I have... Do I have... I don't think I do. Okay. Oh. Close that. Whoa! Don't do that while you're driving. Whoa, that like about did me in there. Oh man, that made a huge difference. Now I'm back to what I'm used to. I wondered why everything was like I was riding on rails. That about killed me though, doing that while I was driving. Not a good plan. Definitely surprised me, although I was a little bit afraid that was going to happen. Oh, that's actually not what I meant. I meant to go to 5 high. Anyway, there we go. Now my suspension's moving around again and stuff. Anyway, love the shifter. I do, when driving Euro truck, I kind of wish I had a Euro styled one. I've seen that they're available. I don't think it's worth buying another one at this point, but I have seen like Squirrel drive with it and stuff, and it's like, oh, that would actually be cool, because it's, this is an American style knob. It would actually be cool to have a European style, but I don't know. I spent $180 on this one. I don't know if I really want to spend on another one. Sorry, I actually have a hard time reading my stream. I'm trying to figure out a better layout here, and so I don't have the have it right in front of me. I wonder if I can have some Anyway, so I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat here and there, but it's not in the best location. So anyway, so I've got the $180 I spent on that, and I just have a hard time spending another $100 on a different one. I don't know, maybe one day I will, but today is not that day. Let's see, let's speed up. I also, man, I have so many settings that are different on my other game. Anyway, I do like, if you can tell, I'm actually running pro mods, which, especially when you're in Germany, I feel like makes a huge difference on the quality of the game. The roads are a lot more exciting, all of that. So I definitely like playing with pro mods. I have a hard time not playing with pro mods. It's one of those things that I just don't think I could go away from. Now that I've played it, I guess it's the standard problem of once you've played a modded game, at least to me, once I've played a modded game, I have a really hard time going back to the original, because the game has so much more depth oftentimes with it. So I've got a fair amount of mods. One of them is pro mods, as well as their trailer pack. And then I also have, one is the Minimal Advisor mod, I think is what it's called. It's available on Steam. You have Minimal Advisor top and Minimal Advisor bottom. I've got the top one on. But the other one is that, for a stream, this probably isn't all that great, but I do play on a triple head setup. Which one of the things that does that I've really noticed, one is it feels more immersive and stuff. I mean, even to the extent of, I find myself when I drive normally, if I've been driving Euro Truck a lot, I find myself trying to do things like I do in game. Like on a normal car, your turn signal is up and down, but I obviously, you don't have that on a Thrustmaster, but it has the paddle shifters. So I end up using the paddle shifters in game as turning signals, and then I'll get in the car and I start trying to flip those for turning signals. Anyway, so it's a lot more immersive with the triple head setup, but and the other thing is that it actually feels a lot slower. So if you're playing the game on just a single monitor setup, then it takes and squishes the field of view horizontally so that you can get more on screen. So for anybody watching, my mirrors are on the right screen and the left screen, and so if I want to, I've got the mirrors here that I can toggle on, and I often I'll turn those on, because I often turn those on when streaming, because then those who are watching can see stuff in the rearview mirror. So I'll go ahead and turn those on, but I have them off to the side, and because it doesn't smash it in, so like if you look at the standard Euro Truck, when you're not running multiple screens, you've got the GPS on the lower right hand corner, and then on the left side it'll have the mirror. Sorry, I just saw a chat. Okay, cool. Glad to have you on the stream. Pop in and out as you want. Mr. Wolf, it looks like. I don't know as I'm an example of how you should do a stream, but you're welcome to watch and enjoy. It's been probably a year since I've really streamed anything, or at least since I've streamed Euro Truck. I really come and go. But anyway, so with the standard game, it takes the whole world and like squishes it together, and so it actually makes it feel like you're going faster, because the horizontal is going by so much faster that you feel like you're going, like I'm doing 80 kilometers an hour, which for those using American units, that's 50 miles per hour or so. And so I'm running with about 80, and on a standard game that actually feels kind of fast because it's all squished together and everything goes by a lot faster. But since I'm running the triple screen setup, which took a long time to get set up right, and I read a lot of pointers and tips and how-tos and stuff in order to get it where it actually feels like it's running well. But because it's stretched out so much, it feels like I'm just taking a leisurely Sunday drive now. You know, as soon as someone cuts me off and I try and stop my 40-ton vehicle, then that can all change. Or if I completely misjudge a corner and that, you know, then that leisurely Sunday drive feeling can go out the window pretty quickly. But that's actually one of the things I like about Euro Truck, is that I can just kind of relax at the end of a day. There are other games I play if I am not looking for a relaxing time. But Euro Truck is just kind of a chance to slow down and think, and usually on my streams I try and just talk about things that have been on my mind or whatnot. The other thing I like to often talk about is shifting theory, although it looks like the last time I played this one on Euro Truck, I actually was running on automatic, and so I had to shift that up. And I think that might just come down to my clutch was so out of adjustment that I couldn't get it going. I thought it was just the fact that the trucks don't have enough low end torque, but I think it actually was my clutch was adjusted to basically nothing, so it was all or nothing. And so this is a lot better. But I often talk about shifting theory, and that's one of the things that often comes up when people talk about Euro Truck Simulator 2 or American Truck Simulator, is, well, how do I know when to shift? How do I when do I shift? And also, how do I get it set up? So I haven't always had this shifter set up. When I first got started trucking, I had a G920 with its 6-speed shifter. And then I also had a DualShock 4 controller, which I still have, but I don't use anymore while I'm running. And if you go actually to my earlier videos, then I have the camera aimed, and I've got the DualShock kind of like rubber banded to the base of the shifter. And then I had 2 buttons on there. I actually think it was the left stick up and down that were mapped to splitting and toggling the range toggle, and so I used those. Now I've got this shifter, and so you've got up front here, you've got the range toggle, and then on the side you have the splitter selector, and then I've also got a Jake brake right here. But the nice thing there is you actually can get in and, you know, use the H pattern like they have on the trucks themselves. Like Volvo uses a different H pattern than Scania does. And so that's kind of fun to get in and do that. But if you don't have that, there are other ways you can do it, you know. So like I said, I used to use a DualShock 4 with, I think it was up on the stick was range toggle, and down on the stick was splitter, and I do it that way, and that worked. And it was definitely doable. One of the big things I notice is going from American Truck and Euro Truck. On American Truck I float the gears, on Euro Truck I don't, so that can be kind of a change. Man, my mirrors could really use adjusted, but I'm not going to do it right now. So anyway, if you can get a triple head setup, it's a much nicer setup, but it's also a lot more expensive. You've got to have a graphics card that can run that many pixels. You've got to have 3 screens. It's a lot, and there's a lot of actual work that goes into getting it set up right. But it is worth it. Anyway, I have not driven a Volvo for a while. This is significantly quieter than my Scania in my other game is. I've got a V8 Scania in the other game. So this is a 700 horsepower Volvo, and I think that one's a 530 or 540 or something. Whoa, you know what? That was bad. So my USB just rebooted. And so anything that was connected USB, which includes, you know, F1. Okay, that's got to be what happened, is that my USB just disconnected. I am not sure what all is still going. Give me just a second while I troubleshoot this. Okay, so that's I totally got a frozen stream. Let's see if I've got anything on there. Okay, let's see if I can fix those really quickly. Okay, so I got my cams back. I'm not sure if I have any control here. Why did my... Okay. Let's see what's going to go on now. So I just had like a complete USB reboot. My truck is hurt now. Let's go back here. No. Okay, so that's back. I still don't have any audio though. I don't have any in-game audio. I'm gonna have to reboot the game. Let me pull over really quickly, and then we're gonna go. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to get back here. After I reboot the game, let's go back to. I'm gonna go back to the intro screen. Since I don't have any audio. Man, that was not good. I have not had that happen before. But it was like my computer completely forgot what it was doing and killed all of the USB. Okay. So what have we got here? Where's my audio going to? I'm gonna do... Okay, I think I'm back up now. Come on. Man, that was very destructive. I couldn't think fast enough what I needed to do when I just had no control. That's really disorienting when suddenly I have no control. Audio went flat. I thought the game had crashed because the audio completely dropped off. But it hadn't. I just didn't have any control. I mean, who needs control? But man. Okay, continue game. That was... Oh man. That threw me for a loop. I'm sorry. I was like, boom. I was out of that. I guess it gives me a chance to get going again. I am wondering how bad my truck is now. Because I hit that wall pretty hard and more than once. I'm going to have to do some major truck repairs. And I might have some damage to my load. Not too exciting on that one. Let's see. Let's go to... Okay. Let's go back in game. I'm going to look really quickly at my delivery. Okay. What? I must be taking a different route or something. I'll have to look at that when I get there. What about my diagnostics? That's what I want. Oh, man. That took it out of me. Okay. Well, I'm actually going to try and finish the job with my damaged truck because I don't want to stop and fix it right now. So we'll see how that goes. Man. That was not kind to me, nor to my truck. Okay. My truck doesn't want to start. Okay, we'll see how this goes. Okay. It is not picking up my... Okay. It lost my clutch setting. Let's see what that is. Options. Controls. I don't have a clutch. Do I have a brake? I don't have a brake either. Okay, I do have a brake. I have no clutch. I think I'm gonna have to disconnect and reconnect. Ah, come on. Really? No clutch? I guess I could drive without a clutch, but I don't really want to do that. Where is my clutch? Hey, sorry. So my USB on my computer completely rebooted, and I lost all control for a minute there. You missed the fun part. And now I'm trying to figure out what is going on here, because I have like no clutch now. And so I might have to restart the game again. I think I'm going to have to restart the game. Man, sucks. Okay. Sorry for the interruption here. Let's go back. I'm going to back to the beginning and end. I'm going to reconnect my pedals here. I'm going to do a quick test on them before I go live again. Yeah, I was like middle of driving and it just cut out and I was gone. So let's see what we've got. If I go, let me look at my Thrustmaster stuff. Let's see, not you. I don't even remember if where I've got that Thrustmaster. That one right there. Okay, so I've got something now. Okay. Okay. Let's go back to the game now. Play that. Play. Man, that was bad. Yeah, my truck is like super damaged now. Doesn't want to start. We'll see if I can finish this delivery. I kind of want to try as a bit of a challenge, I guess. Is that what yeah, good challenge. We'll see how it goes. Actually, I need a little bit of airflow here. Middle of winter, and I need to have some airflow. Sorry, I'm going to be quiet for a minute and see how bad the fan noise is. No, that's not okay. That's too much. I'm not willing to give up my audio for a fan. So, let's look at the controls now. Okay. So if we look here, do I have a clutch now? I have a clutch now. Ooh, except I need to give it just a little bit of a dead zone. Okay. Why do I need a dead zone suddenly on my brakes? I didn't need one before. Okay, we'll just do something like that for now. I gotta get driving again. Okay. We'll see if my truck will even start and pull this now. I didn't want to start before, and then I didn't have a clutch, so I couldn't go from there. Okay. Oh, I totally just hit my mic. Sorry. Okay. Okay, let's get going. Okay, we're on the road again. Cool. So yeah, they're actual truckers who stream while they drive, huh? Interesting. I know I've seen some who actually, I should say that I didn't completely not know that, because as I was first driving, one of the things I looked a lot into is like shifting theory for trucks and stuff. And that was one of the things that I'd do, is I'd actually watch actual truckers on, are you not gonna, on how they shift and stuff, and it was actually really informative. It's not picking up my, is it picking up the others? It's not letting me turn on my cruise. Oh, I am having all kinds of issues. Let me see what's going on here. Anyway, I would watch actual truckers, both on the American and the European side, to try and figure out, okay, how should I shift? When should I shift? That kind of stuff. And it actually helped a lot. There's some really good YouTube videos about, you know, how do you truck, or how do you shift when trucking. Okay, so let's see if that'll let me do it now. Why is it not setting the cruise? Huh, my cruise is I guess I'm gonna drive cruiseless, because I can't get the cruise to turn on. Anyway, there are some really good videos. I didn't know that people actually stream, and I haven't watched that much. But that doesn't completely surprise me. I know the videos I've watched have been of people basically streaming, but it was for specific purposes, like, hey, there's actually a really interesting video of a guy streaming driving over the Sierra Nevadas, over Donner Pass, and he talks about shifting both on the uphill and the downhill. Really good video. Learned a lot from that one, actually. And so there's a lot of, why is that not letting me, I feel like I'm doing something wrong, because I can't turn my cruise on. I'm not sure why my cruise is not working right now. I know it wasn't working when I first started before, and then it suddenly started working, and I'm not sure what I did differently. Man, I am like, look, this is how you don't play the game. Like, I cannot do this. Anyway, man, this is, I'm not so sure how much I like this. I've got a physics mod on, and I feel like it's almost too bouncy on the truck. Like, I'm bouncing a lot, and I feel like that's probably a little bit too much of a bounce. But maybe not. I mean, maybe that's pretty good. I've never driven a European truck, so I couldn't actually tell you. Let's drop a gear. Why am I unable to cruise? There's gotta be something going on there. Whoa. Got a little bit of a tilt going on there. Okay, we are going to slow it down. Not that way, okay. Loan installment. You know what? That's not working either. Is it? Is my engine brake? I wonder if that's what's going on. That's probably what's going on. Let's see. Let's grab that. Options. Keys and buttons. Engine brake right there. Okay. So let's see if that did it. Because I don't feel like my engine brake is on. I'm going to listen here. I don't feel like I have any engine brake. Okay, my retarder is working. I mean, all of the rest of it is working, so it must not be so bad. Huh. Okay, I'm not sure. Maybe I'm just used to the engine brake on my Scania where it's so much louder. But I know an engine brake can also be why the cruise doesn't turn on. I'm really unsure. Oh well, no cruise. How does my Euro truck look like this? Sorry, just I'm gonna run people off the road here. The Paradox dog. How does it look like what? Probably what you're referencing is, oh, you know what? I didn't turn that back on, huh? I've actually got a triple screen setup, and so it's a lot wider. Is that what you're referencing? So I've got monitors on both sides of me here, and is that what you're asking about, the way it looks, or is it something else? If it's something else, the menu, yes, that's a mod. If you look on the Steam Workshop, it's called Minimal Advisor mod, Minimal Advisor, something like that. I'll actually put a link to it in the video description after I upload it, or after I'm finished. But they've actually got two versions, one that goes on top and one that goes on bottom. When I first started using it, I actually used the bottom one, but the problem is that it's behind my steering wheel, so I use the top one instead because then it's easier to see. But it's, yeah, Minimal Advisor. You can still bring up like the normal advisor for specific things, like I do it for job info when I want to know how much time I have till the job is done, but way better than the original. Community did a great job on that. I don't remember who the modder is, but they did a great job. I think it's a great mod. My cruise still just is not coming on. I'm not sure what's up there. But yeah, great mod. I've got the other one that you might have noticed as well is there's actually one that's called Sissel's Flat UI, so SISL Flat UI, and the one that does, let me actually see if I can do this without crashing. So if you look inside here, the whole menu is just flat, so like the original menu tries to create like a 3D look, which kind of dates the game a little bit, whereas this one just does a flat. And I like it a lot. I think it's a great change to the game, but it's Cecil's Flat UI mod. Sorry, I'm looking at my cruise while I'm in the menu anyway. Cruise control. So if I do that, I mean, it's going in as if it's working. Why is it not assigning it? I'm still not sure why I'm unable to cruise. Maybe it's registering as a little bit of brake input? I don't know. I'm really not sure. Sorry, I hit my brakes to try and see if that was what the problem was, and now I'm going super slowly. Sorry, I'm horrible at reading the chat. Anyway, yeah, so the two mods I love. One is the UI mod, and the other is the Cecil's Flat UI. Both are great. I've got a bunch of other ones too. I'm actually playing an economy mod that makes things harder. So like for this job, I'm making all of $2,300, which compared to most jobs in EuroTruck is not very much. But it makes it a lot harder, makes it where if you get in accidents like I did earlier, or if you get tickets, it's a lot bigger deal. It also just takes a lot longer to buy everything. Earlier I had my USB hub just completely rebooted on me, lost all control, ended up wrecking. So I'm gonna have to fix my truck here at some point. It hasn't died on me since I got going again. I was afraid it would be a problem, but it has not been a problem so far. Anyway, so what other mods do I have? I'm running pro mods. Engine malfunction. Am I running now? I am, okay. Oh, this is my exit. Guess I better get over, huh? pro mods, and I'm also doing Poland Rebuilt, which is a mod I had found recently. It's not really a new mod, I don't think, but I found it recently. And so we're actually doing a delivery to Poland, since we're using the Poland Rebuilt. I thought it would be a good one to do. I was actually going to do a World of Trucks, the race truck deliveries, but running pro mods, it is not working, so I'm out of luck on that one. Let's see, we need to go up a gear. So I'm out of luck on that. I accepted a job in Frankfurt, and then it wouldn't let me even pick up the job. It said there wasn't room. First I thought it was my truck, so I tried switching to a different truck. Didn't make a difference, so I wasn't able to take that. So I'm hoping on the next one maybe I can. But the current World of Trucks thing is deliver 10 racing trucks, basically, Euro truck racing trucks. Oh, I am speeding galore. Anyway, you deliver 10 of them, and then you get stuff for it. I wasn't so worried about that as much as just taking part in the event. But now I'm afraid running pro mods, I'm not going to be able to take part. And as I said earlier in the stream, it's not worth not running pro mods. Pro mods just improves the game so much that I have a hard time not running pro mods. So I'll just continue to run pro mods, and maybe I can take part in one of the later ones. I really wish my cruise would come on, because that's frustrating. And apparently I need to sleep, and I just barely passed a rest stop. So let's see what we've got here in the way of rest stops. I guess I will stop at this one. I'm going to put a marker there so I don't forget. And then we should be good to go. Okay. It looks like I'm coming to maybe a border up here. Is this the Polish border? It is. We are coming to the Polish border. Okay, let's drop a gear here. We're actually dropping half a gear. You know what? I did not need to drop a gear. The speed limit is not dropping yet. That guy's like, man, you're going super slow here. Okay. You know, it's gotta be that, like, my engine brake is stuck on or something. That's gotta be what's going on here. And that would explain why it's slowing down so quickly, and also why my cruise isn't working. Let's see. Now it's time to drop a gear, or half a gear at least. So there's supposed to be a place I can sleep right here. Let's throw in some retarder. Looks like that is a parking area there. Did I just hit somebody? I just got hit from behind because I tapped my brakes. Is this an area I can stop? Boy, that's a cool truck. I used to have that on my truck. I think that I have to pull into the middle there. Okay, we'll try this again up here a little bit. We'll try it on the other side of the border, over by those other trucks. Okay. Yeah, we'll come park with this one over here. I think I can park right here. Okay. And I'm gonna have to fuel at some point too. Man, this is really bouncy. Okay, so I'm gonna grab a quick screenshot. Now that it's daytime, see if I can get a good angle. I'll drop off my mirror so they're not in the screenshot. Okay. Photo studio. Yes. I'm just looking at the chat, and yes, I am very long-winded. No two ways about that. So let's see if I can get a better. Let's see. Maybe something like that. Let's go a little higher. We'll back up. Something like that. That works. Now I've got two choices when it comes time to upload a screen. Thanks. It's actually one of the built-in vinyls that you can put on your truck, but I did mix up the colors and stuff a little bit, but I enjoy it as well. On my other one, I've got like a red Scania, and it's a pretty good looking one as well. It is time to catch some Z's. Let's go ahead and kill the engine so we can sleep, and we'll pretend like I just got in the sleeper and went to sleep, because that's what you do. And now we get to drive at night. I have a crappy parking job. It's a good thing nobody needed to park behind me. Okay. And my engine malfunction from my earlier crash. Okay. Let's get going here. Let's need some headlights. Parking brake off. There we go. And looks like we are clear on the road. There we go. We're gonna split this one. See if we can keep it in the sweet spot. And we're gonna drop back down. Use a little retarder here. I still don't know if my engine brake is working right. It just isn't acting quite like I expect it to. I don't hear any engine brake. I'm thinking that USB problem is man. And my brakes are like super sensitive. I still think I'm having issues from that earlier problem. Okay, let's go. I'll just have to slow down my retarder instead. But I still think, I shifted wrong. And it's not necessarily I shifted wrong, I just shifted in a different order than I normally do. Okay, how goes it? I think that my jake brake button is messed up. And I think that's why it's not, like, it doesn't sound any different when I hit the jake brake, and I don't think it's slowing down any faster. Okay, 6 low. And almost, you know what, we don't need 6 high, because we're only going up to 80 anyway. And we are in Poland. Actually, before we go any farther, let me see if there's anywhere I ought to stop along the way and discover. I have a lot of time, actually, I think. We are going to run up here to, I have no idea how to say that in Polish. Gorzo Wielkopolski. And then that actually reroutes us a lot. Do I want to go that way? That looks like a more interesting road, if nothing else. Okay, we will go that way then. Is there anything here that needs to be discovered? I do not see anything there. And how about here? Nope. Okay. So we will take that route. And now we're going to speed. I really need my cruise working. I tend to speed. I wonder if I just... You know what? I'm going to test my theory here. Come on, test my theory. Nope, not that. Is that what that's not what I meant to push. I mean, it's not a bad thing to push because I had to turn my mirrors back on. But that's actually not what I wanted to push. I'm just going to get rid of my Jake brake controls and see if maybe... we'll just hit like B over here or something. We'll do 2. Ah, dang it, that's not what I wanted to do then. Okay, we'll do that now. Let's go back to the chasing cam. Sorry, I'm like adjusting settings more than I'm driving, which is, you know, fabulous experience. Okay, from a streaming perspective. I like smashing my hand on it. Yes. I say there are some languages that I can, you know, read or attempt to read. Polish is not one of those. I mean, they don't use Cyrillic or Russian characters, so there's that. But it is foreign enough for me that I do not do a good job there. Cruise still isn't turning on, so that's not what it was. Ooh, and I am tipping a little bit more than I would like to. Let's... Okay, let's keep slowing down, slowing down. Man, those brakes are super sensitive. I have to see if I can adjust them. Let's pay our toll. Are you gonna let me out? Thank you. Okay. Okay. 20, huh? Ooh, this is like low speed limit through here. And the hard part is that I'm just doing this. I guess I'm going a different route, but this is more of a detour. A flip or a barrel roll. I might do a barrel roll. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm gonna look really quickly because I'm not sure why my brakes are so super sensitive. Options, controls. Like I barely tap them and I am on my nose. If I take that down, okay, so my clutch, that might be why my retarder's not coming on. Or why? That would explain all kinds of stuff. Okay, because that would be why my engine brake's not coming on, and that would also be why my cruise isn't working. Oh, retarder's active, so I can't set my cruise, but I should be able to. Still not letting it set. Okay, that didn't explain it. Let's go ahead and just go to high for now, since we're not going to be going super fast. And we're going to go for brights. Ooh, there are tractors out there. Let's go to 5 low. And then we'll even make it to 5 high, I think. Okay, we are at 80, or we have a 80 speed limit. And my engine died. And it died again. Man, that wreck has really caused me some problems here. That was what the problem was. Sweet, my cruise is working. Now, let's mess with, oh, come on. Don't hit him. Okay, so I can set my engine brake, man, engine brake back to, not you. You are going to get set to that. And now I should be good to go. Okay. And escape. Yeah, there's my engine brake. Okay. It was that clutch. It was that clutch. So it was registering the clutch. It's ever so slightly pushed, and so none of the other things were working. Okay, let's go to 5 high. And back to 6 low. And the speed limit is 70, so I need to slow it down just a bit. Okay, we will keep the speed limit so we don't get those tickets. And I'm briding everybody. Okay, that doesn't explain why my brake's being so touchy, but at least now my cruise control and my engine brake work. So that's a good thing, or 2 good things really. He just passed me when it turned into non-passing zone. Okay, we are gonna slow it down a little for this corner. It wasn't as bad as I thought. It said it was sharp. We'll go ahead and speed back up as it gets into the sharper part. Don't roll. No barrel rolls. No barrel rolls. Okay, here's my exit coming up. Okay, so let's go ahead and start slowing down. Engine brake time. Hear that engine brake. I knew it wasn't working. That clutch is still... Okay, I gotta adjust it a little bit more because that clutch is just registering as slightly pushed. So once I get back on the open road... maybe now? Okay, I've got to adjust that clutch just a little bit more. Controls, go down to where the clutch is. Okay. Now we should be good. Nobody's coming that way. And let's get going. Discovered a new place. So, it's interesting because you made a comment earlier that you said, you wonder why people watch Euro Truck streams. And it's interesting because, I don't know why everybody watches it, but when I watch Euro Truck or American Truck Simulator streams, it's just kind of relaxing. It's just kind of, watch the person drive and kind of, I don't know, see what they have to say more than anything, because the game itself isn't super exciting, and I the way when you say that, it sounds bad, but I don't see it necessarily as a bad thing. See, I barely tap my brakes, and I am like, oh, I wonder if I actually need to adjust the in-game brake settings. Anyway, the idea that, it's not very exciting sounds like it would be a bad thing, but sorry. Yeah, so one of the things I have done with one of the mods I'm running called Pro Mods, and if you're familiar with Euro Truck, you've probably heard of it, or I should say if you're familiar with Euro Truck modding, you've probably heard of it, but it's kind of a rewrite of all of the maps. One of the things they have is in your definition file, when you add it, you can actually increase the damage. So I actually have my game set on double damage. And I am totally all over the place. Okay. Good thing that cop doesn't actually care what I do as long as I'm not speeding. Anyway, so I've actually got double damage turned on. The worst part about damage is you have to pay for it, but I think it makes the game more challenging and whatnot. And I'm for a challenging game, so that makes it more interesting, I think. Because then I'm more avoiding. It's kind of like the economy mod, where technically you can play it normally and it can be lots of fun normally, but you make lots of money, and so things like wrecks and repairs on your truck, and my engine died, don't really matter that much, because you're just making money so fast that okay, I've got to repair my truck. You're making money so fast that it doesn't really matter. So we're actually going to swing around here. You know what? I should have just stopped there. I'm gonna flip around in this parking lot and go back to that You know what? We're not going to get repaired. I already said that I was going to do the delivery without getting repaired, so we're not. Anyway, so double damage helps a lot as far as making the game more difficult. I do wish that they had, and this is standard across most games these days, where they don't have anything visibly take damage. And I think it comes down to you have to get the truck licensed, or the cars licensed in most racing games. And so the people who are allowing you to license it don't want you to have their cars beat up in game. And so they don't license it if you have damage, visible damage that's taken. So I do wish that the damage were visible. But there you go. They do have it, as your tires wear out, you slip more, you don't perform as well, or you don't handle as well. And as the engine breaks down, that's the most noticeable one, is that as the engine breaks down, then you end up breaking down. We need fuel. We need fuel. Man. Whew. I cannot even touch those brakes. Okay. Fuel stop. Parking brake. Engine off. Let's fuel up. I'm gonna do it from the outside. See, $1 per liter. Yeah, I've watched quite a few people stream the trucking simulators, and most of it comes down to what the person has to say more than necessarily the in-game stuff, because the in-game stuff, it's a fairly relaxed atmosphere, I guess is the way to say it. And so, sorry, I'm getting going here. Watching my mirrors. Oh, there's a train going by up there. I thought okay. Well, that's a weak horn. I don't have any air horns on this truck. Okay. So, I am now going to get back on the road. And I kind of drove over the curb a little bit, but we'll forgive it, I guess. Anyway, it's been, I said this earlier, it's been a long time since I streamed. I used to kind of, have an idea of what I wanted to talk about when I went into the stream, and I came into this one not. So I didn't really have a preset idea of what I was going to talk about. So I'm babbling a little bit more than I often do. What's something that I could talk about that I've recently learned? Oh, no, that probably wouldn't be too. There's a podcast that I sometimes listen to, usually on long trips, called Freakonomics Radio, and they actually talk about, why am I going around in a circle? Why am I going around in a circle like this? Oh, what? I'm just gonna do a loop inside the city here because my GPS told me to, and I'm not paying enough attention. Anyway, they talk about economics and the economics of different things. And one of the ones I recently listened to while on the road was actually I should have just split that one. Was the the economics of athletes. It was actually a lot more interesting than I thought it would be, and they talked both about collegiate athletes as well as professional ones. Now, I am not a sports fan. I actually picked a sports team a few years ago because at work everybody's like, no, you've got to have a sports team. And so I said, okay. So I went on to like NFL.com and I looked at all their sports teams, and I picked the Vikings because they're Vikings. I mean, that was pretty much the extent of it. And so I'm now a Vikings fan. That's now my team. So that's the extent of my. My engine died. I was like, I just my steering wheel went dead. That was actually really cool. It was like my power steering died. Anyway, so I'm a Vikings fan, right? And that's just because I picked a team at random as much as anything, because they're Vikings. Anyway, so I'm not a sports fan. I never was. We never really watched sports. My kids have been involved in soccer, so there's some of that comes in. And we're just starting up the soccer season again. But that's, I don't have a huge connection to sports. I ran cross country. That's about the extent of it. Anyway, but it talked about the economics of athletes, and basically, like, it talked about that even, you know, an NFL player who makes millions of dollars in a year, they're kind of just in this situation where they don't have any power over their future. Because they talk about that the average, that was really close. I just about hit that guy. Anyway, that their average rookie season, so when they first enter the NFL, generally they sign a rookie contract, which is a 4-year contract, and that the average career in the NFL lasts 3.5 years, which means at that point they often sustain an injury or have something else that just, you know, they're just not playing well or whatever, and so they don't keep playing. Apparently I turned the wrong way on that road. That's why I went and took a loop through town. Anyway, so they signed this initial contract, which, you know, is a lot of money for what most people think of, but the average career of a professional NFL or an NFL player is about 3.5 years, which means that within that amount of time, they're getting taxed really heavily because they make a lot during a year, and they have to make enough to last the rest of their life, because they're likely only going to get to play 3.5 years, you know, and that's kind of the average. So it was a lot more interesting than I thought it was going to be going into it. In fact, it was one of those that when it started up, I was like, I don't even know if I care about this. I mean, this is, you know, sports economics. That's not really my thing. But I went ahead and listened to it, and it was actually a lot more interesting than I thought it would be. So anyway, just kind of anecdotal there. The other thing is I was really surprised about is that basically if you want to make it into professional sports, whether it's basketball, whether it's football, you basically have to play collegiate sports. And one of the things they talked about with collegiate sports is that in college in general, versus I think it was the 80s is what they were comparing to, income of like the college president has gone up 300%, right? So they make about 4 times as much as they did back then, which, you know, that's a pretty good wage increase. In fact, much better than most of our economy sees. But the coaches have seen a lot more than that. In fact, the example that they gave was that NFL coaches on average have gone up 12,000%, I think was the number they said. It was something like 12,000%. So whereas in the 80s, the president of the college and the football coach made about the same amount of money, in today's world, the football coach makes 10 times as much as the president does. Now we could argue about, you know, whether the president needs to make as much as he does. That would be a completely different conversation. But the coach has seen a lot higher wage increase. In fact, much more in line with professional NFL coaches. Now I don't remember whether they said they made as much as them, but they made a lot more like them. And so in collegiate sports, the athletes get paid basically nothing. I mean, they have scholarships, they have, you know, some of that, but they don't get actual income. Whereas in the NFL, the players make about 50% of the money that comes in as revenue is paid out to the players. Whereas in collegiate sports, you know, well, none of it is directly paid out, and the cost of scholarships is maybe 10% or 20% of what revenue is brought in. Well, we've got a anyway, so whereas in professional sports or NFL they make 45 or 50% of the revenue, in collegiate sports they make much less than that. Let's see, sorry, I'm trying to find my way through this little town here. So this is all part of the Poland rebuilding, and I have to admit I haven't played all that much of the original Poland, but I did play a little bit around in it yesterday, and I'm blown away with the detail that they've thrown into all these little Polish cities, which is kind of what ProMods does in Germany as well. But the little, I don't know, there's just so much going on in these little towns. It kind of blows my mind what they've done. Oh, and I about overran that one. And is it green? No, it's red now. Okay. I'm gonna grab this really quickly and take a look around. I actually did stop in time. I didn't think I did, but I did. Anyway, so this is all part of the Poland rebuilt, and much more in depth than the original game was as far as Poland goes, and I am quite impressed with it. In fact, it's much more interesting to drive. Much more. The original Poland made by SCS was just kind of bland, not a whole lot going on, but this is lots of fun. They've done a really good job. I feel like their work is probably on par with ProMods, at least what I've seen of it. Anyway, so in that Freakonomics episode, they also talked about UFC fighters, so professional fighters, and UFC in particular. Currently, the fighters only make about 10% of the revenue that actually gets paid into UFC fighting goes to the fighters. The rest goes to everybody up the line from them. People who own venues, people who coach, people who train, whatever. So whereas with the NFL, 45% goes to the players, in the UFC, it's like 10%, and most of the fighters, are scraping by. They don't have really enough money to live, but they love fighting, so they keep doing it. Anyway, it was interesting. They talked about beach volleyball, which, like UFC fighting, is the players don't get very much of it. The athletes don't get very much of the money made. Man, this is a windy little... Oh, that was a bad frame drop there. Not sure what happened there, but frame rate tanked. Anyway, so that was just an interesting podcast. Again, Freakonomics is interesting, and when I first went to listen to it, I was like, man, I just don't think that I'm going to care much about the economics of... And apparently it's going back to 50 now. We'll just drop down another gear. Man, these are cool little towns. These are awesome little towns. So, 49. Oh, this is me. Oh, man. I gotta pay more attention here. Okay. I just about went straight. Okay. That's what I get for glancing at the chat when I'm supposed to be turning, huh? Okay. We will split this gear. See if we can stay in that sweet spot. And go half a gear up. And let's not bright everybody on the way through. 80, huh? 80 on this little windy road. Hey, that's a train coming. Here comes the train. Here comes the train. And did my engine die? Yep, my engine died. Okay. I was like, I've got it floored and I am not accelerating. Okay. sadly, before I start my next stream, I don't know how long that'll be, but I'm gonna have to take some notes on things to talk about. Yeah, like I said, I think in the standard game, it is not that detailed. And maybe that's part of it, is they've got a whole team of people who are just working on Poland, making it better. And so it's really detailed. In the original game, it's just kind of bland. I used to also play with a mod called Thrustmaster, but that one doesn't seem to have been updated in a while, so I've just kind of not included it in my list of mods right now. Because I wasn't sure if it was compatible, and I just haven't been driving on over to Russia anyway. Oh, I totally thought that they were on a scooter. The guy on the side there who's on a bike, I thought he was on a scooter. Okay, let's slow it down for the roundabout. I'm still not 100% sure what to do on these roundabouts, because technically, what was that? Red light violation. There was a red light back there? There was totally a red light. They had lights in that roundabout. Here I'm talking about what to do in roundabouts. But I think technically on the roundabout, since I'm not taking the first exit, I should be going here. Now, they do say there that I'm allowed to go. Okay, so actually on this one, because there's like a pre-roundabout, I don't know. Oh, there's the red light on this one too. I just about missed that red light. Man. Bouncy truck and my engine died. And I killed it. Okay. Okay. I don't know if anybody's interested, but the way I start off on these Euro trucks is actually, there was a guy on YouTube that I watched who was driving a Volvo, and he talked about like real life driving a Volvo, and he talked about how he shifts when he's driving his Volvo, and what he does is he starts out in one low, and then when he shifts up, he goes into too high. Instead of going to too low, he goes to too high. So he's skipping a gear and a half, basically. And then he goes from too high to 4 low. And then he goes to 5 low. And then from 5 on, he starts splitting the gears, basically. And so that's what I try to do. It seems to be nice because oftentimes on those low gears, you find yourself shifting through them so much. And with only 500 RPM to accelerate through, you eat through them really fast. And so what he does is 1 low, 2 high, 4 low, 5 low, 5 high, 6 low, 6 high, and getting through them that way if he gets up that. So it was actually a really interesting thing to learn. I do it differently on American truck, but on Euro truck, because of his video and talking about how he does. Now, I don't know if that's how all professional drivers do it. I don't know if that's how all truck drivers, in fact, and I actually struggle with this a little bit because most European truck drivers just drive an automatic. That's actually really common there. And by automatic, it's actually an auto shifting manual. Oftentimes they have dual clutches and all kinds of stuff, and they actually drive better, they perform better, they get better economy from auto shifting, and so most drivers do that. So I won't say that most drivers do what this guy does. There's actually a channel from a guy named Stavros, and he phenomenal, great channel, but he does reviews of actual European semi trucks, Volvo, Scanias, MAN, Ivecos, anyway, and he'll take them for test drives and stuff. And so some of them he manual shifts. Like there was one he did the other day that was actually of a cement pump truck, so for like pouring cement walls and cement floors and stuff. And so he did a a test drive of that, and it was a manual shift truck, you know, and so he manually shifted it and stuff, although he didn't talk much about how he was shifting. It was a really heavy truck too. You know, most trucks are around 40 tons, and I think this one was like 48 tons. 96,000 pounds instead of 80,000 pounds. So, you know, he did a test drive on that, but many of the trucks he test drives are auto shifting, I shift if it's a Volvo. I don't remember what Scania calls their auto shift. Anyway, and so he doesn't, you know, but you can watch the truck shift as he's test driving it, and so it can just be, come on, retarder, kick in. I don't want to hit my brakes because they're so sensitive. Anyway, so I'll actually do the upshifting right here, like the guy said. So I'm going to start in one low. Let's get up here where we can see where we're going to go. And you're going to let me go, huh? Okay. So that's 2 high, and we're going to go back to 4 low. And then we'll skip to 5 low. And go from there. Anyway, so most of the auto shifting trucks do it 1 gear at a time, and they shift very rapidly as you go through. So you actually get oftentimes, and they also don't always start in 1st gear. Now I do have crawler gears, so technically I would be starting in like 3rd gear or something like that if it was an auto shift. But the auto shifters do pretty much go through all of the gears. They just do it really quickly because they can do it faster than someone manual shifting can. But in those low gears when I'm manual shifting, I like to skip some because the low gears are, you go through them so fast anyway that skipping that gear and a half helps you get through them faster. Now in American truck I tend to go 1 low, 2 low, 3 low, 4 low, 5 low, 6 low, 7 low, and then at that point I might start splitting, or usually I'll even just go all the way to 8th before I start splitting. Oh crap, I am like speeding like crazy and there's a cop up here. So let's slow it down a bit. Man, that brake. You know, I'm wondering if it's actually that Momo. So the mod I have doesn't so much affect the way the truck handles, but it does affect the way the seat moves. Let me look here though. Options, gameplay options. I'm actually gonna turn my brakes down some. Let's see, truck 8 shift, braking. We'll turn these down a bit because they are just putting me on my face. Anyway. Oh yeah, I guess you can't see it on stream. I've actually got some stuff on the dash there. Anyway, I don't even know what I was saying. Boom, it's gone. It's completely gone. Anyway, Stavros does a good job. Oh, the auto shifters, so they go through all the gears, but they do it really quickly. Whereas I like to not hit all of the gears as I go through. I'm not going to make that. These yellows are so short. Okay, we're going to do... I turned off the engine. That's not what I meant to hit. Okay. I am almost to delivery. After this delivery, I'm going to call it a stream. Oh. I was totally in the wrong gear. That's what I get for playing with my camera instead of getting in the right gear. Anyway, I'm going to call the stream after this delivery here. We'll see how long it takes me to back in. Hopefully it goes well. I do not have a tag lift on this one. Oftentimes on my trucks I have a tag lift, which I like to put up when maneuvering because it makes the maneuvering go a lot more quickly. I can turn a lot sharper. So this one is not a tag lift. At least I don't think it's a tag lift. I think I tried to... That would also... If it is a tag lift and I had the tag up... Okay, let's actually check that really quickly. If I go to the outside and I look here... Nope, it's not a tag lift. Okay, good to know. I was going to say, because that would also explain why I'm bouncing around so much if it's a tag lift and my tag is up. Anyway, So it's not a tag lift, so I'm not going to be able to turn quite as sharply as I sometimes like to. But 1 low, 2 high, 4 low. Okay, and looks like we are delivering to, where are we delivering to? Job, Noggle. Okay. Ooh, we have a nice tight little spot to deliver in. Let's see how this goes. Okay, parking brake, enter. And we want to park. Confirm. Okay. And I stalled it. We're gonna go for a crawler. Oh, I'm in there. That's why I stalled it. Okay. I want to get close here. And my engine died. Okay. Okay, hang on right. Okay. So you have mirrors so you can see, but I'm not using those mirrors, although they look about the same. So, okay. And let's straighten out just a little bit here. Okay, hard, right? I don't think I'm going to get it on my first try here, but we will see. Nope, no first try for sure. Okay. Hard right. Oh, come on. Like to blame it on the engine, but it wasn't. Okay. Now let's start hanging right here. No, not quite. Okay, we'll have to get one more go at it. Hopefully one more. Okay. I'm gonna see if I can bring it a little more into line. That was me. I stalled. Oh, come on. Okay. Nope, I went too far. Okay. You know what? That is not very awesome, but since it's accepting it, I'm gonna take it. That was about the worst. That was about the worst parking I've done in a while, but we are gonna call it. Oh, detach the trailer. Well, thanks, Mr. Wolf. I'm glad you stuck around, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. Again, it's been a while since I've streamed. Just life happens. But I'm glad I could tonight. We're gonna hit continue because I don't want to grab another job. That's probably it. Thanks, Mr. Wolf. Thanks for. There were a couple of others, Paradox, Doge, that were on. Thanks for joining, and maybe I'll see you on the next time. Till then.